Radhika from Percept Software Systems. So in the previous tutorial we learned how to retrieve the data from the database. So in this tutorial we learned how to add the record, how to insert the record in the database, right? So for that purpose we have already rendered the NodejsDemo file. So now in this tutorial we'll add new record in our database, right? For that we need to have new HTMLs. We need to right click and we need to add new item, and we need to add the HTML file. So my HTML file name is employee.html. So it's just a simple HTML file where we can give the body, we can give the style, we can give the form action, submit employee data, table alignment, and td username, input type username equals name equals username. So all the column names, last name, password, date of birth, email, telephone number, and address, postcode, and submit type of input type equals submit, right? So it's just a simple HTML page where we can we can have our information, right? So now the main purpose is how to use this HTML, for that purpose we need to go in our app.js file. So we need to add the new code app.get employee.html, our HTML file name, function request, response. So basically request is an object which contains information about the HTTP request that raised an event, right? So we have response.send file underscore dir name. So basically dir name, it will manage the name of the directory that the currently executing scripts resides in. Basically dir name, it's for the so that we can manage the name of the directory, right? So plus we need to add, concatenate it with the employee.html file, our HTML file name, right? So through this code we can just view our HTML, right? So we need to have the functionality as well, correct? So for that we need to have the post method so that we can have insertion in our database, right? So we have app.post submit employee data. It's the form action which we have already declared over here. So it's the submit employee, that is a form action. So now we need to declare the variable where username equals request.body.username. So basically request.body, it holds a parameter that are sent up from the client as a part of the post request, right? So it's just a element to hold the parameter, right? So we are declaring the variables where username, the last name, password, date of birth. So make sure this username, this last name, pwd, dob all should match with this one, with the name we have provided in HTML form, right? So we have var email, phone number, postcode, address, etc. So it's again the same var SQL. So packages are already installed in my demo as discussed earlier. So we need to make the connectivity again. So we need to have var SQL equals requires MS SQL, where config, we need to provide the configuration, we need to provide the username, the password, the server name, the database name, and you need to provide the real information over here. So the information is hidden for security purposes. So SQL.connect config, so it's again the connectivity, the same code we are using, connectivity code. So it's config function error if we have error in connectivity. So we need to get the message error. Where request, we need to create the new object of SQL.request. Where query, so here we are using the query, we are in a variable query, we're saving the information we want. We need the SQL query, insert into tbl employee, all the column names, values. In values, make sure the syntax is correct, right? So we have values, username, last name, password, email. So inverted start, inverted commas. So make sure it's properly, because otherwise we'll get the error, right? So we have request.query. So this SQL query is stored in this query variable. So request.query, we need to have this query over here, function error, record set. If we have error, then we need to get the message error, else we will get the connectivity SQL.connect config. If we have error, the same var request, then request.queries, we need to get all the records from our this database, right? So all the records from our table. So as soon as we'll add the add our record, we need to have all the information, right? So we function error, if we have error, then error, else we need to now, here the difference is we will render our add-emp jade. So we'll make a new jade. The purpose of making new jade is we need to get the message that the record is inserted successfully. So add-emp, so again in the same way, in the views folder we need to right click and we need to add new item, and we need to add our jade file, right? So and now I've already added the jade file add-emp. So it's the same jade file as we have in NodejsJade. So just the difference is we are just adding a new heading that record is added successfully, right? So it's the same else. So we have hyperreferences, delete and edit. So its functionality we'll discuss in the next tutorials. So basically we have done with the code in app.js file. Alright, so here we have, as discussed earlier, where server equals app.listen, so our app will work on 1337. So and everything seems to be working fine, we'll get the message that server is running, right? So if everything is okay, we don't have any errors, so we'll get the message in console that server is running fine. So we need to go on Microsoft Edge so that we can run our application. Right, so we are getting the message server is running. So now it will redirect to localhost. Alright, so we are getting the jade file. We have 2 records. So now it's the rendering process. So now whenever we click here, so we are getting our registration form. So here we can have the demo. Alright, so whenever we click on submit button, we need to get our jade file, right? Alright, so we're getting the message that record is added successfully and we are able to render our jade file, right? So it's a simple demo where we can insert our new record and we can directly insert in a database, and we can even retrieve that information, right? So in the next tutorials we'll have an action, we'll have a operation for delete, as well as we can update our information. So thank you for watching this video.